perspective. This is Mancave Live with your host, Lexington Steele, and co-host, Andre Lavelle, and Johnny Depp on LA Talk Radio. Let's get it in.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed the Man Cave Live Show coming to you on September 24th.
Yep.
Another evening in sunny Southern California with, to my right, my main man, Andre Lavelle.
What's up?
On the wheels of steel. And of course, the man on the left who's got all the reasoning, all the backups.
Say it.
My main man, Johnny Depp. When you need to go to the hole, you need a man who's got Depp. That's JD.
No doubt.
Who appears courtesy of.
That's right. You know it.
Formula R3.
See, y'all-
Rise, rock, and restore.
But what happens in
man.
the morning?
Come on,
gonna
she'll
love
love
you,
you, man.
That's what I
You know,
heard.
you already got it down, man. You know what it's about, man. It's the
Holy
real-
shit.
it's
And
the
you know
real
what?
Deal right here, man.
People,
Real deal. It's the
we
real
are
deal,
in house
man.
with Robert motherfucking Hines.
Yes.
In the building.
You did. What's going on,
In
man?
the building.
Man, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I'm just a
Wait,
brother to
you
do
said
it, though.
15 cent or 50 cent?
15.
15.
50. It's
you a hustler.
deflation. It used to be 50 cent.
Yeah, well, that's them.
That was down to 15 cent.
I'm
If
po
you all,
pimping around here.
if this man looks familiar to you, it's because he is a viral phenomenon. Viral.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I caught it back when I was in the Army. And
What was it?
Jones Big Ass Truck Renter and Storage Facility. And then the second one was called Jones Good Ass Barbecue and Foot Massage.
Yeah, that shit.
And then there was one more called Jones Cheap Ass Prepaid Legal and Daycare Academy.
Wow.
And those were your...
Viral videos. There was this group called Big Dog Eat Child. They were a sketch group, and they couldn't make the character work. They couldn't figure out how to make it. So they asked me to do it, and I was doing it as a favor.
Okay.
Like I was trying to help those young guys out.
Right.
And the next thing I know, I'm getting a call from Google like, hey, would you like to advertise your business more dynamically? I'm like, what business?
That's what's up.
They
That's
thought it was a
what's
real
up.
commercial. Yes.
Wow.
It was in Esquire magazine as the top 5 worst holiday commercials of the year.
Well, hey, that's saying something, though. I mean, that's all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah,
You did.
You know what I'm saying?
Got
So, like,
recognized.
shoot.
And it was so hot. Guess who featured it and did a blog on it?
Who was that?
Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Wow.
And the dude helped me out tremendously by doing that. Like, you know, I'm getting a lot of attention because of how he did that, and it was super dope. Like, it was
what's
amazing.
up.
He doesn't know me from Adam.
Okay.
But that dude has a deep reach. It's particularly in the comedy community.
Okay.
So if he does something for you and plays you in a complimentary light, it could just make your career.
Wow.
That's
But
how
that
powerful
says
that
a lot
cat is.
about the character and the way you came off. That's why.
Oh, so
it
you
went
were the
viral. It
voice.
was
You were the voice
hilarious.
of the character.
It
I
yeah.
was the character.
He is
I was
Jones.
Toby Jones. Tobias Rutherford Jones.
Tobias.
And at his
Jones?
core, he is a hustler.
Stop
You
it.
understand? He sells things that people don't need, but
Wow.
you're going to buy anyway.
How you gonna get a combination barbecue and foot rub?
Oh man, yo, I saw that skit. Yeah, I was on the ground because I was like, yo, this can't be serious. Like, yo, like you can't be serious. And then I just fell into it and it was like, yo, hilarious. So I got to big you up on that, yo. That was
Thank you. I
that was
appreciate it.
good.
And it had
Yeah.
a phone number attached to it. And people used to call the number day and night. Day and night. It was
It
ridiculous.
is just a joke. Wow.
Yeah. It's almost like the song 7779311, and then people start calling.
Yeah, like, remember that?
Can't have that phone number.
8675309. So
Wow,
yeah,
made it into a jingle. That's crazy.
Such familiarity with those rhymes there and jingles.
You know, I'm from the '80s, man.
Yo, people, we actually hit off our 4th episode of the
Comedy Blast. That's right.
At the Ha Ha Cafe
Every
Tuesday night on Lankershim Boulevard here in North Hollywood. You know, so make sure you guys check in with us as we keep you abreast of who we have coming up in the weeks to come every Tuesday night.
And speaking of numbers, give us a call here, 818-570-5085.
Please do. We love to hear your voice.
Definitely.
I mean, I
Now,
like
people,
my brothers here, but I want to hear some voices.
well, let's put something on the table. I'm going to get right into it, people.
All right.
And as we approach this week, we have had the arrival of a seemingly momentous occasion as we're getting it from major mainstream media. We have the arrival of the Pope, who has not visited the United States in well over 85 years, as I understand it. I don't know. I personally come from the Baptist end of the Christianity segment of religion. Gentlemen, what do we feel? Is it impacting America or just segments of America that the Pope is here?
Well, this
bearing that
Pope-
there's a number of African Americans that are Catholic.
Well, this Pope is his first time coming here, but didn't we have John Paul or the
Yeah,
other?
'cause one of them
Yeah.
cats got shot out here. That's why they had to change the whole regimen of how he moved around in the car.
Okay, so I was incorrect in that it's been 85 years since we've had a Pope in the U.S.
There's been popes here before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hide your kids when they come around. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
Low
Low
blow.
blow. Low blow.
I like the way he said, like, man, one of them cats got shot. Like, it was so cool. That's like beyond cool. Like, yeah, he was chilling, and then they shot his ass.
Riding through
No.
with
You
But
get
the-
hacked
you
for
know,
the Pope.
The reason, gentlemen, the reason why I believe this is something that we have to address is this. If we look at the measure of security that has been afforded to the Pope in his presence here on the terra firma, United States, by way of comparison of the presidential campaign over the last 6.5 years, where people are literally walking up into the White House. Robert, I'm not saying jumping the gate, although they did that. I'm not saying walking up in the elevator, although they did that. I'm not saying finding your way into the presidential dinner, although they did that. But they tell you that the Pope has been the most protected individual, perhaps in the history of America. What do we think, gentlemen?
Well, it's about that faith and that money, man. Catholicism and Rome, they have their own.
Does the protection of the Pope supersede the protection of the leader of the free world?
I think so.
As far as the rest of the world is concerned, yes.
Exactly.
Me,
Right.
I am in fact the Negro Pope. I don't know if you know that, but I am Negro, and because I knew people wouldn't be ready to see me as Negro Pope, I got a couple of nice looking little young ladies who are like my choir, and they announced that I'm coming through the door.
Right.
What are they called?
Me too,
They are the
actually.
Popettes.
Oh, the
And,
Popettes.
And when I come through the door, they're like Negro Pope, and then I walk in.
You have one of those hats?
I do have one of those.
You got the
Oh,
big
man,
joint.
let
You
me
got the
show
big
you,
hat.
Joe.
Oh yeah, he's
The-
Negro.
the
It's
heavy-
called,
you serious?
It's called a miter.
That joint look
A miter.
Is it heavy on
Mine
your-
isn't heavy.
Okay.
Mine has Serena Williams on it. Mine does not
okay.
have.
It don't-
How
it
do
look-
we know she
it look
doesn't look
heavy.
like the Virgin Mary anyway? You
that's
dig?
another
So-
story.
Do that.
Yes.
But the rudiments of this, what we have on the table is not something that we can joke about. It is a case of what we have been seeing is a relative insecurity of our black president. Not saying the fact he's black, but a president in
No, that is
general.
what caused it. He's black.
Right.
and
Are
they
we
don't
okay?
care.
So are we into the belief that it is? Is there a disparity between the measures of security?
Yeah, I think even before the popes have come before, I mean, they've been heavily protected, man, because religion is power. So he's like a head figure. So
He is that.
Yeah,
He's a
that's what I'm
pontiff.
saying.
I don't really understand it personally. I know there's a number of cardinals and.
Yeah, but he's top of
Those are
the line.
the
You know how many
Popettes.
Catholics around
You are the Negro Pope. I wish we could.
Negro Pope.
Where can they see pictures of Negro Pope?
NegroPope.com.
Okay, there
Simple
you
as
go.
that.
Go check out Negro Pope.
Simple
It's
as that.
hilarious.
Here's the thing. Okay, so well, first of all, this guy is supposed to be the embodiment of Peter. He is supposed to be Jesus pro temp, as it were. Right, so anybody who is and a lot of black people don't even understand our own religions. Any part of Catholicism that is not Catholicism is a Protestant religion. So Baptists and all these other, they are all knockoff religions of Catholicism, right? So now, if and the church was the way to get a dollar. I mean, I'm not trying to.
This is true. The Roman
Man,
Catholic Church is the
they're
richest,
money, baby.
next to maybe England.
Yeah.
If
you know what I'm saying.
if you have a business and you want your business promoted, what's the best way to get people to do what you want? Tell them that they will go to hell if they don't do what you say. So that means on Fridays, my boy own a fish joint. Y'all got to eat fish on Fridays. You know what I'm saying? This is and so his security is paramount. But the difference between this pope and every other pope before him is that this dude is about what he talking about.
So you're saying he actually implements the things that he espouses.
Absolutely. Okay. He ain't one of those little boy touching dudes. That's not who he is. And they don't like him because he's saying, listen, y'all got all this money and this people broke. Yeah. Why is that? Why are you cutting food stamps? Quit letting people play you. I don't give a damn about your sexuality. You could go to heaven if you are an atheist. What other pope has ever said that? Because it ain't about the dollars with this dude. It's about spirituality.
Excellent. Now, I didn't know that, and we see him being, paraded around, and it's obviously it's not taking anything away from its importance, but we didn't know that this actually guy is a hands on the ground type of dude.
Listen, did you hear what he said today to Congress?
No, I didn't.
So he's talking and he's going into his popely crap, and he's like, listen, we have to value all life. And the Republicans like, yeah, value all life, yeah. So we got to do something about the death penalty. The Republicans like, this some bull.
And they flipped it.
I don't need to make this money head up, and not only that, he's talking about poor people consistently. He turned down a dinner with these people like, I'm finna eat with some bums.
Right.
Well, to expound on what you were saying earlier about power and religion and money, it's all tied in together, man. I mean, because once you control the people, and Dre, you say it all the time, you control the minds, you got the people, and they can do whatever you tell them to do. Like you say, if you don't adhere to these certain rules and certain boundaries, because it puts chains on you and it puts fear in you, where you don't want to move, where you paralyzed, and you like, oh, well, if I do this, I am going to hell. And once you got control like that, brother, man, you can get anything out of anybody. Give me $1. When my man on Chris Rock say, hey, little man across the street, give me $1. It's that type of thing, man, because I got that power over you.
Religion is so powerful. If you, I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones or those type of movies.
How many Catholics are in the world?
The religious leaders were as powerful, if not more powerful, than the royalty.
Right.
Right.
That right there says it all.
And there have been times where the royalty got into it with the religious people, and they had to settle it.
Listen, how many
look at the religious crusades?
How many Catholics are in the world, and they're serving the Pope? Like, look at all these people praising this dude.
Well, they said that the Catholic is the largest religion in the world.
There you go.
And then the second greatest religion are non-practicing Catholics. It's the second greatest number, non-practicing. That means the people that don't even go to church on Saturday are a greater number than, say,
well, you know why?
Buddhist contingent, which is
the Catholic Church is Sunday.
Right.
So, right.
But my point is
but you know why Catholic
Church... But you know
Church,
what my point being, right.
But you know why Catholic Church is so dominant, especially in the Caucasian community? Because you can do your dirt and then say a couple words and you cool. So it expunges you from I got slaves.
Well,
but
you know who's one of the biggest followers of Catholic, a lot of people, Latinos. Yeah. And I'm surprised that he hasn't come to Los Angeles.
And
any type of Latino, man. And that Mexican, Peruvian, I don't care, Latino. Most of them are Catholic.
Well, he just returned from Mexico,
and that's what he is.
Yeah, but I'm saying he came. Sorry. He came over here,
right.
And LA has a very large population of Latinos. I'm surprised he didn't come.
Well, does his tour include the West Coast?
No, it's just the East Coast. It's just Philly, New York, and help me out.
And DC.
DC,
right? Now, I'm surprised he did not go as far north as, say, Boston. Like, the Archdiocese of Boston is a pretty big area.
Yeah,
it's
right?
pretty much. You know what? They had people traveling from all over the world to see this.
Coming here to
So Boston and New York is nothing. It's just a hop if you really want to see him. I'm talking about across the country. Over here in Los Angeles, 2,000 miles away, where you got.
And he is like from Central America or something like that. It's like and they hate him.
Right,
they
because
hate
he's
him.
messing up the flow of
Because
things.
he's messing with the ends. Once you start messing with the ends, then you hear it. It's so funny to me, man. Like they're saying stuff like I think one of the president, Rubio, the thirsty dude,
young dude.
Rubio,
it might not be his time.
Yeah, but he's thirsty like a mountain lion. Every time he talk, you got to, I need something to drink. I'm dry as I don't know what. And Rubio was there. They're talking about how he was talking about climate change. The Pope was like, we got to do something about climate change. We're stewards of the planet and all this other good stuff. And Marco Rubio was like, well, he's not a scientist. He should stick to science. Well, he is a scientist. That's the thing. Like, you don't understand. This guy is ultra educated.
He's been
Okay.
around. What,
He's
85?
Man, he's
been around a
got a
minute.
degree in some sort of science. I don't recall what it is, but he is a scientist.
Listen, you don't make 80. You don't make 85 being dumb.
Right.
Yeah, and he speaks
And in
multiple
that
languages
position.
as well.
Yeah, and he
Right.
speaks English very well. And most of the popes that came over here, they needed translators. My
Right.
man was spitting it like that. He was like, oh, like, yo, I understand what he's saying.
Like,
But,
he,
you know what I
he
mean?
speaks over 10 languages, as a matter of fact.
You
Something like
name me
12 or-
one dude you know
yeah.
speak over. I don't even know a person in my crew that speak over one language. Most dudes I know got trouble with English. You know, let alone they trying to learn Spanish and they can't even make it through Spanish too. Or, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to speak 10 languages, come on, man.
Yeah, the dude, man,
The
they
dude
do
is-
not
yeah.
like him because he is not telling you what you can't do. He's telling you what you can
Yeah,
do.
you messing
It's
up the money.
interesting. If you look at the way the coverage is going, we also, many times on this show, we talk about the difference between coverage on your CNN versus your Fox. And if you look at the way Fox is covering the visit of the Pope versus the way CNN is covering it, you think they're different. They're completely different people that are being covered. You know?
No doubt.
Listen, you know how I feel about those news stations, man. I mean, they all on the same agenda, but they're approaching it from different angles.
Okay.
You know, they all talk about the same thing, but they just put their spin on it. You know.
Fox is pretty much mind your business, Pope.
I don't even indulge in Fox because like I was saying earlier on the Facebook, you see so many people that talk about Fox and their blood pressure be through the roof, and I'm like, yo, why are you subjecting yourself to that? You can fuck around and have a heart attack just because of what Fox said.
Yeah, I don't watch Fox either.
Yeah,
I'm just
dude.
far too black for Fox. I can't do it, brother.
But if you
I
watch
cannot-
Empire, you watching Fox, so they're gonna get you either way.
well,
16 million heads watched that the other night.
Let me
Amazing.
clarify. I don't watch Fox
News. Okay.
Fox
Right.
so-called news.
But he gonna get your viewership
Because
some
he
way
got
or
the
another.
NFL. What are you
There
thinking?
you go.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna watch
saying,
that.
you're a businessman.
Every Sunday, I'm gonna be
Exactly.
right there in front
He
of
said,
the TV.
listen, I'll-
Every
I'll-
Wednesday
yeah,
night.
I'll-
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's me.
I'll upset you on one end, but on the other end, I'm like, yo, I got you with the sports. So it's
Absolutely.
great. I mean, yo, he's brilliant. Brilliant. Not mad at him.
Speaking of which, I mean, did you gentlemen enjoy Empire last night?
I didn't watch it.
No, you didn't watch it. You didn't watch
I watched
You
it with my wife.
I
didn't
watched
watch
it as well.
It was, you know.
Okay, let me ask you
Two
this.
guys with chicks, they watch the Empire.
No, you know what? Yeah, but okay, that's right. Don't even. First of all, I was with my chick, which means I have one to be watching it with. He was watching it with his wife.
That's
so,
what I'm saying.
that's
That's
the
why y'all
point.
watch it.
That's
we
it.
didn't,
That's
we didn't
right.
have nobody, so we didn't
Yeah,
watch Empire.
yeah.
Well, you,
Yeah,
well,
well,
I know
my lady
J-
was out of
Yeah,
town.
JD's got, you know.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
might have been
yeah.
hand holding with the bottle of lube or something.
Yeah,
online.
Stop it.
You might have been on
Low blow.
Bing.com.
Ding,
going-
ding, ding. Break it up. Break it up.
You
Break it
know.
up. Break it up.
You
Just
might
because I
have
don't put my
it up.
stuff on blast,
You
you
might
don't
be
know
on-
what I got in mind.
Break it
no
up.
doubt, no doubt. But no. What I'm saying, that is true. But no. Not for nothing, people. Taraji Henson coming down, Cookie coming out of the gorilla cage in the gorilla suit.
Yeah, that was heavy.
Did you feel
That
that?
was heavy.
I had kind of had misgivings about
I
that.
felt very
Did you-
uncomfortable,
yeah.
especially when she squatted and then stood up, started beating
Yeah.
on it. I was like,
Really?
really?
And then you guys
Really?
probably see a
Really?
replay
I
that
have
she
to
took
see
off.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, like he's supposed to be locked up, right? And
gonna get
they're
a
doing
recap?
a benefit concert for him being locked up, right? So there's this cage that comes out of the sky, and there's a gorilla in the cage, right? And the gorilla, when it comes down onto the ground, the gorilla starts
Yeah.
to beat its chest and squat
A
down.
la
and
King
make
Kong the
noise.
movie from back in '76 with Ed Bridges, that type of thing.
Oh, you know what?
what's
I
it
don't,
called?
I don't
Bridges.
even want to.
Right, Jeff Bridges.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Takes off the head and unzips the costume,
Right.
and it's Taraji P. Henson.
Because she's running the show now.
No,
so that's symbolic, right?
But
It's
see, the thing
symbolic
about
of
it
her
is,
husband being locked up in the show.
right, but what we saw the other night at the Emmys, and we all have to say there was a moment of pause and appreciation, and certainly enough, an honor to see well-positioned black actresses winning all throughout the night. Taraji there represented as well. I think the only reason Taraji didn't win something because there was only one season of Empire. Maybe next year she's a shoo-in. And then juxtapose that against what we saw last
on,
night.
you know
you're like,
what this is about.
ooh.
You know what it's about. It's just like when
You know, do you rise them up just to
Listen.
hit him
Hey,
with it?
no one-
Lee Daniels. Lee
Nah,
Daniels.
but
I don't know.
It's just like the Oscars or whatever
Right.
it was
Just about to
when
say.
Denzel won, Halle won, and Hard Out Here for a Pimp won the music.
Yeah.
And now
We
you
don't hear from
nothing.
you
Yeah.
about another 8-9 years. We've appeased you, Negroes.
Exactly.
Now
Yo,
we're gonna move
check
on.
this out.
Exactly.
Look at the gap from Sidney Poitier until Denzel Washington. Like how many decades?
They
did
let a
you-
pig
did
win
you
one
see?
year. and the brother couldn't
but you're
get nothing.
talking in terms of best actor. But what about and time wise, I might be wrong. But didn't Denzel win for supporting actor in Glory? Of course, we have
Yeah, he
Forrest
did win.
Whitaker.
Yeah, he won
in,
support.
in
But
the Last King of Scotland.
But I'm talking about a main.
That's what I'm
actor.
saying.
No,
Forrest Whitaker was best actor for King of Scotland, Last King of Scotland.
He won. He won an Oscar.
I believe
win.
so. I can verify.
Go do your
please.
homework, my brother.
Certainly
because
enough. I make no
And you have to tell me what year this was because
I certainly would.
Because I remember, and they even said it.
Right.
They was like, "Yo, you skipped the when was Poitier? The 50s,
right or
mainly?
late 60s when he won that.
Okay, let's say the 60s, you get the 70s, 80s, and the 90s.
Right.
Not one black man has won an Oscar until Denzel.
Did
which was in
the King of Scotland come out? Last King of Scotland come out before Training Day?
Training Day came out before.
Before, okay.
I don't recall. I'm not.
Yeah,
you know.
Training Day.
Nobody
came,
ever
'cause
want to win, so I don't watch it.
Because everybody was up in arms with Denzel winning an Oscar for that particular part.
But it was
there.
not his first Oscar.
That was his first.
No, it's
Oscar.
not.
No, for the lead.
Glory.
For the
Yeah,
lead.
He
He
won
won
for
the lead.
supporting actor.
Yeah,
right,
he got
right.
it for supporting
Glory, right.
because he shed the tear.
It was a great
I mean,
tear.
It was a
powerful
great tear, though.
Right.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
He should have won for
It went-
Hurricane.
Yo, you remember
Yeah,
the
right.
Omaha commercial
He
with
should
the
have won for
insurance?
X,
X,
With
yeah.
the Indian?
Mutual
Yeah,
of Omaha.
Oh, that's the no. That's the Indian when you throw the paper on the ground.
Yeah, the
Okay,
garbage.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Indian tears.
Yeah.
So, yo, he gave us the Indian tears. So,
Right.
But I'm talking about as a supporting actor, yes, but as a lead,
It's so.
because they thought he was gonna get it for Malcolm, and he didn't.
Right. Spike Lee certainly took a short that night.
The thing that I find
pun
hilarious is
intended.
the fact it's like when they do it, it's so overt and overly done. It's like, okay, Lifetime Achievement Award for Sidney Poitier, and Best Female is Halle Berry, and the Best Actor is Denzel.
Has there been that reaction in terms of what we saw the other night?
No, and well, because she was the only one. Like she's like this is the first time in 2015.
Well, Viola won, and the woman who's
Regina
beautiful
King
name
won,
I
too.
can't
But
pronounce.
Regina
King won too, didn't she? Did
Just
she win
Regina
something?
King won as
Regina
well.
King
Right.
won, yeah.
Well, again, but it hadn't happened before that.
Right, right,
They're
right.
giving
you're
them
right.
out like pancakes.
No,
Well, I mean,
we didn't see any
here's-
brothers.
here's
I
the
think there was one brother that won. The brother with the real deep voice.
Yeah.
The real
he
deep
won.
voice. He
And that's
won
what I'm
one.
saying. When they do it,
Finally,
it's so
so many
overt.
years.
Like, we're gonna give the whole night to you Negroes, so we ain't
I
gotta
think
deal
that
with you.
I'm not here to defend whiteness, but I think that these people actually did great shit.
No doubt.
And so they had no other choice. If they had a choice, it would not have happened. But to your point about, despite how offensive it was to see her come out of that gorilla
Right.
costume, I think it was necessary. Wow.
I don't know.
So what do you think
I'ma
the
tell you why.
symbolism is
The
with that?
symbolism was that they treat us like monkeys, and they got and in the movie, in the context of the show itself, it was that you treat us like animals, and you're treating my husband like an animal. But this is what I liked about that whole episode, about everything about it, because at the end of the day, no matter how much these two people battle, they have each other's back.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and Chris Rock's character was a gangster in the show, and he's like
Yeah,
coming
one
after-
episode.
to
Right,
Raji
if-
P. Henson. He was coming
If
at
you
her
have
head.
not
Yeah.
seen it, they're giving spoilers. If you have not seen
Well,
the
hey,
show.
you know what?
That's
Hey,
on
you
you.
know what?
I got a DVR just like you
Yeah,
got.
I'm gonna go and check it out because it's so funny. Like at first, I wasn't interested in Empire. I'm gonna be honest
Me
with
either.
you
Me
because
either.
it's kind of like, okay, you got another show about hip hop. It's almost like another show about slavery or whatever. But when I sat down, and I think it was on FX, and they were having like this marathon. And I sat down and I watched it from the very first episode. I was like, yo, this is well written. I said, yo, I have to give it props.
You know
Well,
what
so
I
Lee
like?
Daniels product. So I mean,
you know,
it's,
because
you know,
and I was being
Right.
prejudiced because I was like, oh, here we go. again.
What I like
Yeah.
is
But
the
it's-
fact that
it's
Lee
well-written. It's
Daniels,
good stuff. It's good stuff.
not only does he stand his ground, but he speaks his mind. And I posted it on our Facebook page as well. Check it out. Lee Daniels was in a forum of film producers or directors, whatever, and he said he asked each person, because he was the only person of color. They had one woman on the set, and he said, "How many people of ethnic background do you have writing?" He said, so how can you get upset at me for having an all-black writing staff? You ain't hiring them.
Somebody got to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're not out here.
Yeah.
They out here. Yeah,
So, I
you're
mean,
right.
I don't know much about him, but for him to be in this room full of other people and say, fuck you.
Is that the
more or
same
less.
conference
know it
with
was
Matt
him.
Damon when Matt Damon
No.
had a
Nah,
okay,
that's a
that was
different one.
okay.
I saw that one where
But
he
that
tried
was
to jump on the
the
lady.
same
And
They had a little bit of
and I'm saying like, yo, hold up, like how can you explain this lady's experience? You can't. You don't have any right to say that, like because you ain't walked her shoes. You didn't had her
what
shoes on. She had made something of. She made the comment. Help me out, Lex. She made the comment of saying something about it's different when we try to come in to Hollywood because something to that effect.
It's
And it
almost
was
the
about
same
race.
thing
It
as
had something to do with
Dre's
race.
talked about, yeah,
right. It had
where
something to
she-
do with race, and he
who
was
was-
like,
and who was
Matt
Matt
Damon was
Damon?
like, well, now what are you crying about? It's all equal across the board. And she's like, how can you say that? That's not
Wow.
true. And he was like, well, what are you getting upset about? Yeah. So it kind of went back and forth. So I say that to say this. I'm like, how are you gonna? That's that lady's experience. You
Absolutely.
can't sit there and say that. Like, oh, that didn't happen. How do you know?
Because nobody is starving Matt Damon. You dig what I'm saying? He's getting to
He's
eat.
eating.
He's eating. And that changes your whole perspective.
Right.
When you used to good, it's easy to get used to good stuff. It's very easy to get used to. So you got a great life. You've done good work. You got a great life. You can't tell me what it's like to have the suckle portion
right,
of
the
this
struggle.
on the way up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't tell me. So I did think that was poignant, and it was, and I got the point of it. But it was very uncomfortable. To watch.
I thought, yeah.
It's almost like saying, okay, we get the chops and the ham, and you get the chitlins. Be glad you got some meat.
Right.
Same situation.
Absolutely right. Absolutely
Well,
right.
definitely what we saw last night in Empire, it definitely was somewhat shocking. The illustration and the representation with the gorilla suit, I thought it was a bit much. I don't know what the reaction had been out there in the world, but it's good to put it on the table right here tonight.
Well, I think
Yeah.
just the fact that you're talking about it, they wrote it specifically for the controversy, and the fact that you got
Yo, they had Al
a
Sharpton
room
in it.
of
Yeah.
black
Al
writers
Sharpton was
creating
You got
but the
this
most
too.
poignant,
What's that about?
the most poignant thing that happened on the show to me was when she went to visit him in jail and like, look, I got a problem. Somebody messing with me.
Yeah.
Now they are exchanging unpleasantries. They hate each other and they love each other at the same
Yeah.
time. And then she said somebody's messing with me,
And
he set up like who?
Yeah.
Who messing with you?
Right.
So
Like-
no matter what's going
Yeah.
on,
No
I
matter
still got
how
your
much
back.
I dump
Oh,
on
yeah.
you, no one else gets to
Yeah,
dump
yeah,
on you.
yeah.
And then at the end with the final conversation with Chris Rock, when Chris Rock was like, I'm basically saying, I'm glad you don't want to beef. And he was like, oh, well, if you have beef with my wife,
You have a beef
then
with
you
me.
have beef with me. And then he got up, and all the cast were his dudes. Oh, shit.
But
I
that's
wouldn't give it
street,
up.
though. That's
I wouldn't
real-
give it
that's
up.
real, though.
But the
Yeah,
coldest shit was,
you know, Rob.
Chris Rock thought that all the other prisoners in the room were like somewhat affiliated with his crew,
Okay, thanks for
and they could
telling
take
us
out
the,
homeboy Terrence Howard.
Oh, he took the-
But Terrence Howard had already hooked it up, so Terrence Howard flipped it. Was like, "Yo, get him
Okay, I
and make
haven't
it
seen it
loud
yet. Thank you.
and long."
I haven't seen it.
What
yet.
was the funniest
I will-
thing? He done bought people houses and
Yeah.
gave his,
And
like,
told him, he was like, "Yeah."
bought this dude a crib, and
Yep.
that dude right there, his daughter was sick. I got her the
Yep.
cure.
She's going to college, and
So let me ask you this: Empire is a great show.
Yeah, we're not listening to you. We're gonna tell
But
you.
how do you feel
I
about?
didn't think you were gonna watch it.
How do you feel about 50 Cent? Because originally they said 50. That's
Power is still? It's a great show.
yeah, Power. But Power was out before.
right. Was it?
Yeah, Power
Right.
was out before Empire.
I don't think
So,
that.
but
Nah,
what?
it came out
What do you?
before.
What do you? What?
No, I'm saying
What do you
it's
get
kind of like
They're both good shows.
they're
and the
both great
ratings are
shows.
great.
Yeah, they're both great shows. But here's the difference: one has a better platform than the other because from what I understand, the stories are similar.
No, not really.
Not really.
No.
No.
I mean, and but by
The
the way,
only
what?
thing is similar is the names.
But what
Really?
to what you're speaking to, you're looking at stars, premium
Right,
channeling.
exactly.
You can give an R rating and worse versus, a cable,
yeah,
a network
yeah,
channel
yeah,
like a
I'm
Fox.
But
Right.
Fox has
Limiting.
way more viewers. You don't
exactly.
have to pay
That's my
for
point.
Fox.
That's my point.
That's true,
That's my point. So that's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, being that, I mean, 50 said he had his out first, and I just wonder how would they work?
It-
on
I-
if
you
one was
know-
on NBC and one was on ABC. How would it fare out? You know,
I
on
think
a
But why
the
would
only-
we even have to?
Right.
The
I mean,
only similarities is that it's black people in them.
exactly. Why do we have to compete against each other?
Right.
You know what? I would say that the reason why I think there's a difference between them is one is almost soap operatic, if you will, which would be Empire,
Right.
versus Power, which is Saturday night theater drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
so you
popcorn
think
drama.
so what you saying? You think Empire is better written?
I think Power is probably a better product. I think Empire is pop. I think Power is street sizzle. You know what I'm saying? It's like Empire's popcorn. It's like, oh yeah, it's for the masses.
Right.
Power is for the gritty. So you can
Yeah,
say,
that's
yo.
what I'm saying. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not everybody says, see what I'm saying, son?
Right.
That's Power.
Ah,
Empire's
right.
like, hey, we can all enjoy this. But Power's for the people that'll be like, yo, I've experienced that.
Right.
I just
And
think
probably
one
just
you can
written
see
that way
titties
'cause-
on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like you know, in Empire, the reality that you're missing is that if you're in New York, every now and again you will walk by a blown out, dilapidated building. See what I'm saying? In Empire, you don't get that.
Nah, you
but in
just get
Power, you will walk by a blown out block on Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, where you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Shot
Same
town,
difference.
that's
You
straight
know what I'm
to-
saying?
Right.
So okay, boom.
Right.
They're
okay.
filming that in Chicago now.
Power?
No, that's an interesting point. I mean, now because
Yeah.
I've heard different views on it, and I've heard people's like, "Yo, I like Power better," and I'm like, "Empire better," and then you get people like, "But they're pretty much almost like the same," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's an interesting take on it." Just wanted to see where your head was on
It's
it.
a soap opera. It's almost like the Latina soap operas that we see, which are
'Cause
very
it's very
romanticized.
polished. Yeah,
very
yeah,
polished.
very polished.
And then
Yeah,
also
very
too,
polished.
It's the difference in directing style and cinematography as well. Power is very dark.
Very dark,
very cinematic,
Yeah,
very cinematic
yeah.
in its
Very dark,
capture
very dark.
versus Empire, which is I don't know what the word would be for
Flamboyant. It's
for a
flamboyant.
television.
It's bright.
Yeah, it's bright. It's flamboyant. It's happy.
But that's what Lee Daniels. That's his
Yeah,
style.
that's-
And you don't see titties.
Yeah. The bottom line, yeah, you don't see
I mean, for me, I kind of like titties.
yeah. I like Power. Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
powerful.
that's-
And
yeah.
it's violent. I mean, you can. I mean, it's the violence is more graphic. So there's
okay.
no comparison. They're both great shows. Support
Got
them
you.
both. You know.
Oh no, I was just wondering because I hear a lot of you know.
Well, put in proper perspective, I think 50 said that each episode of Power is a mini movie, and each show of Empire is just another show. And the thing about it is, minus the populace of cameos in Empire, would it lose a part of its panache, which would bring it down a note or two, whereas Power stands in and of itself as a great show without
so
cameo appearances every
are
2 minutes.
So let me ask you this: so I've watched Empire. Show is well written.
Well written.
But do you think
Well cast.
Yeah, so that's my point. Do you think since they have the stars, it has a better push as opposed to like?
I don't know, because Terrence Howard, Taraji Henson, they are creme de la creme
That's what I'm saying.
actors.
Yeah,
man. I
and
mean,
then you got all,
You
and
don't
then you
think
got
that Power has that same.
yeah, you don't have that same.
You don't
thing,
really
that's what I'm
need it when
saying.
you can show titties. Y'all don't understand. You don't need superstars when you got super
He's
titties.
stuck on the nipple. He still hung on the titty nipple. But nah, I
Nudity
feel
gets
you.
your viewers.
Right. And that's my
Nudity
point.
and graphic violence.
Because they
we
got
there.
they got the paper where they can bring in all these Chris Rocks and
Right.
Al Sharptons
Right.
and then that.
yeah.
Okay,
but
that's
but Terrence Howard and Taraji are putting in. Hats off to Terrence Howard because he's showing chops after chops after chops. We've seen it for years.
yeah, he's a good actor.
And he's
man.
a
good
great actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
And
I like him.
Taraji,
She's coming
me and
up.
my lady spoke about this last night
Yeah,
while
she's-
watching it. If you look at what she did with Hustle and Flow, and conversely with what we see in Empire, it's a 180-degree juxtaposition.
I gotta shout her out, man. Because,
Right.
I mean, coming from DC, and
Cover of Glamour magazine this month, I believe.
you can just hear that DC twang, and every time I listen to her, I just be like, "Yo, she just a girl from
has
DC." But
Terrence
I big her
Howard-
up though. She's
doubt.
doing her thing, man. That's what's
Has
up.
Terrence Howard show really a lot of depth though? Really, is he really? I mean,
Has he shown any depth?
I don't know,
Every-
but she has.
Has anyone
Because
shown
she was
any
every
depth?
movie, man. You know, man.
Okay, but if you look at the breadth, I'm saying the breadth of characters that he can portray. If we look at his character as a guy on the street, right, a hustle and flow guy on Hustle and Flow,
Okay, so he
and juxtapose that with the roles he played in where that
Hustle and
Morris
Flow was
Chestnut
more
and
Iron Man or
Empire.
something.
That's
he,
pretty
the
much
first
a-
role of Iron Man. But I'm
big
saying
up-
in the roles he
Empire.
played for what's the other producer, mega producer out of Atlanta.
Yeah, this.
Your
yeah,
man.
yeah.
What's my
When he
man?
d-
In
when
the
he-
dress.
No, yeah, that guy, yeah, Medea.
Medea. Wow, that's what he said. What's your man?
For black men, we can't remember the name of that guy.
that's sad.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Cause
But we
He
know
rode with
Medea.
Oprah.
Yeah.
He rode with Oprah. See, we know him more so in the dress than we know his own name. Ain't
Right,
that
but
sad?
back to Terrence Howard. When we see him
shame.
in so many, I think he's he has a great breath.
Nah, he's a great
I mean, he's a
actor.
thespian.
He's a great actor, but I understand what Dre is saying. It's like, where has he stretched his limits?
Have we seen De Niro stretch that far?
Not
Does-
recently.
Has Pacino
Not
stretched?
recently.
But
He's
back in
become
the
a
day-
caricature of himself.
Right, but back in the day,
But
he
back in
stretched.
the yeah.
You know, because some dudes,
That's why Hustle
some-
and Flow was the biggest stretch I've seen him. Everything else he's kind of just Terrence.
Yeah, he's being himself. I
Terrence
see.
Howard.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah.
was in Iron Man, he was Terrence Howard. That's why he was interchangeable. They're like, okay, whatever, we get another nigga in this boat.
I like Don Cheadle for the role.
Yeah.
You know, as yeah.
So you
Now,
don't.
see,
So
the
you
comparison,
let me-
Don Cheadle.
So let
Right.
me
Howard.
ask you this, Dre. So you don't think he?
I like
has-
Terrence,
You
but
think
no.
he got range?
Who, Terrence Howard?
Yeah, you think he?
he
lacks
light
range?
skinned. That's all.
I don't know. I mean, he can sing, he can play instruments.
Got good hair.
Yeah, he light skinned with good hair. That's
Wait,
that's
wait,
so
wait,
funny.
wait,
You
what
know,
you
my
say,
wife,
Dre? What Dre
my
say?
wife
He
was
got
like,
them
"Look how
pretty
his head
eyes."
grow in a circle in the front of his head." Ooh.
What you say? What you say, Dre? He got them pretty eyes.
Yeah,
You know what I
yep.
mean? Hey, I mean, but you know what? Like I understand. Like I said earlier, I understand what you're saying. Like I'm just waiting for him to stretch it. Like Wesley Snipes, he stretched it. Like he put the dress on and he did this. He was a drug
Well,
dealer.
now speaking of that, is that somewhat
He was supposed to be the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
instead
okay,
of
now
Terrence.
do you think that, and this is another thing I haven't brought up the dress thing, do you think that it's true that there is a certain, a measure that black actors have to take, the proverbial wearing the dress?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
Isn't that a shame, Tyler Perry?
Shame. The Medea guy.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
You don't know the man's real name.
do brothers have to truly in Hollywood wear the dress to take that next step?
You
Man,
know,
it's-
I on one of the
Argumentative.
videos that we made, I put on a dress. More than
I
once.
spoke on
I put
that
on
before.
one. I put on one as I was doing a testimonial for Toby Jones, and I was like, "Toby helped me to get insurance for me and my grandbaby."
And you got 2 production deals, didn't
Right, I do. But and the other time I played an Oprah character interviewing Toby Jones, and it was called Topra, and so it's. But here's the thing, I get it. I get that in this society, it's hard for a brother to be a brother. Like you can't be too. If you're too aggressive,
There's
you're
a measure
either
of
a criminal-
emasculation that
I've
takes
said it
place
before,
You're
and
either
I'll
a
say it
sin.
again.
You're either a
Yeah,
criminal
dude.
or you're abusive if you're aggressive as a
We gotta,
black man.
we
in
have
this
to,
society.
and to add on to what you said, we got to tame you. We don't want
Right.
that aggressiveness.
Right.
Like if you look at a lot of news
Too
reporters,
strong,
Right.
too black.
there you go. You put some cream in it.
Do you see? Are we witnessing that by the way of the if you look at the physical representation of a Terry Crews and the juxtaposition of the characters that he portrays, that might indeed be evidence of what you speak of.
Right. Well, that dude's amazing. Like I really dig what he.
Okay,
does.
so then is that indication of breadth of character play, as I alluded to before, or is that a case of saying you take the big,
No.
physically gifted brother and then put him in a dress,
Well, you have to.
i.e. Terry Crews?
Vin Rames in a dress.
He's not in a dress
not
in
threatening.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Terry Crews is not threatening this on sight. The brother can make both his pectorals do the jig.
But he's comical. His personality, the way he
His
comes off
pecs be
warm.
doing the,
He's like
you know,
a. he's-
So there's old
But
spice.
he's
dude.
not.
Yeah.
He's by no means soft in Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Right.
other than when you talk about his children. Like he has twin daughters, and there's no man who loves his girls that is not soft when he talks about his baby girls.
Well, maybe
right?
he wanna go to the
And
next
so,
level. That's why he
so
put the dress
on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he is a man in every way.
Brooklyn
Like,
Nine-Nine
he's
is what?
smashing. This is it's on Fox. It's a comedy show about a police station, and he's a sergeant in
Right.
it. And,
but it's
and
a comedy show.
It is
Just
a
like
comedy
Everybody
show.
Hates Chris. He's a big, muscular, intimidating dude. He started out as one of the American Gladiators.
And he's in Expendables. He's
Yeah.
been in 2 Expendables.
But even in the Expendables, he throws jokes out there. He's not the hard
A comic
knock
relief
you the
that
hell
goes
out.
with
But-
right,
Yeah,
right.
but not
right.
But he's a comedian. Like he's a comedic actor.
Yeah.
like
Certainly
what-
enough. And look at it, in the how much fun he was in White Girls, opposite
Yeah.
the Wayans.
Yeah.
That was great. That was funny.
Wesley Snipes, if he was tall and as big as he is, Wesley, because he's too, he's okay, he's short. We can accept him being, okay, you can be a superhero.
You know, there may be something to that. I don't know, but I will say this: that in the case of when I did it, in my mind, I thought it was hilarious to have a mustache and a beard and be dressed like, be Oprah. To me, I thought that was funny, so that's why I did it.
There's something in Hollywood where the people are in power and they got to keep you at a certain level. You can't come in here with because you end up ass out. The intimidation factor, they can't handle it. So I have to assert myself, give him this part, see if he can do this. They put you.
Well, I asked you then, what about the tenured careers of your Ving Rhames, your Bill Dukes, your Samuel L. Jackson, who portray?
They're all old ass men now.
Yeah, but they're only old ass because they've been doing it for 30 years. They weren't 30 years ago. They were young.
Samuel L. Jackson was in a dress.
No. I'm saying in terms of I'm talking about alpha male blackness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Untethered, if you will.
Well, most of the time, Samuel L. Jackson is usually a criminal. And
so he's typecast.
And I can say like bad words.
Yeah.
And they really like to hear him say motherfucker quite a bit.
It's like art.
Like it's every, I'm sick of these snakes on this motherfucking, like they changed the rating of it just so to say it.
Now it's what's in your wallet. What's a hell of a campaign, not for nothing.
Cleanly shaved.
The Capital One campaign.
With a naked face.
Yeah. But see, only in the urban films has he been the lead action dude. He's always second fiddle to other people in the other movies.
That's true.
One can argue that he stole Django. One can argue that his role stole Django.
What that wasn't Jamie Foxx, and even Jamie Foxx wasn't the star of the film. The white dude was the real
DiCaprio?
lead. No.
The German.
Yeah, the German dude. So when it comes to us, there are no more shafts. 3 the hard way. Forget you. Pig.
Well, a lot of that
Michael
has
Jai
to
White.
do. A lot of that has to do with
Dynamite.
a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are doing things. I ain't as mad if I'm, in an air conditioned studio on the radio. Like those brothers had a point to make. They had to, those are the cats that let us know it was okay to be black. Right. If you remember, one of my favorite groups in the world is Earth, Wind, and Fire because it would be 72 dudes on the stage playing a bunch of instruments wearing dashikis. I was like, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I'm 7, like I cannot wait till my mom to make me a dashiki.
And listen, when and talking about Shab, when I saw him, he's 70s, and you saw Richard Roundtree, and every brother was like, that's the dude.
Right.
He had the nice afro. He had the
but
leather. He was cool. He's just like, and he was masked, and he was hitting chicks.
Yeah. And is there not a time is it not time to have that again, considering the political situation and the racial tensions? Why can we not be strong? We got the Million Man March coming up pretty soon. What is wrong with us asserting?
I don't think there'll ever be another Shab character like that because everything
why not?
is.
Well, I think
I don't see it coming.
I think they tried to do that with Low Down Dirty Shame. That was like Shaft to me, but a comic.
But it was comedy. See, if it's comedy, it doesn't have the same impact. They should make if they're doing all these remakes, they should do Spook from the Set by the Door.
Right. Well, gentlemen, as we continue to talk about these very heavy issues, we do have to bring this evening to a close. Before we get out of here, Robert, can you tell us where can people catch you? Where can people see you on TV next? On stage next?
We are. I'm the character is Toby Jones, and there's a bunch of Toby Jones. Like people are remaking it. Like it's even on. What is the thing that only lasts for 6 seconds?
Snapchat?
Nah, the other one where it's like videos that only last for 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's too many.
People are remaking it on that. You can find it on YouTube. We are presently working on a show now for the character, Toby Jones.
That's what's up.
But the NegroPope.com, you can catch it on NegroPope.com. You can also see anything of mine on RobertLHines.com.
What's up?
And next month, I think we're going to have Rob over at the Comedy Blast.
I will be there on the 13th.
The 13th.
There it is.
There it is. He's in the
and
building.
I'm touring, doing a couple of dates, and I try to go on tour in November so I can go home to my mama's house and eat like food.
Right.
So I'm going to the Midwest. So we be doing the tour in the Midwest. I think I'm being in Cleveland like the 5th of November, and then back in Chicago on the South
careful
side.
out there in Chicago.
Man, Cleveland is I love man.
No doubt.
I know Chi-Town be off the hook.
Let me just tell you something about Cleveland, guys. If you're looking for a woman, go to Cleveland.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because there's there's a lot of nothing guys there and lonely women.
That's messed
And
up.
as long as your socks match, you won't be alone.
Stop it.
I don't partake because I got like a really fine wife and I don't want to mess up with her.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if you want to get down,
I'm good.
Cleveland is a good
No
place to
doubt.
get it.
So people, JD, anything before we get out of here?
Oh, you know what it's about. Formula R3. Rise, rock, and restore. She'll love you in the morning. Trust me, the pancakes were good this morning.
No doubt, no doubt.
PCW Fit everywhere. PCW Fit.
For all the good people here on Man Cave Live, we want to thank you for joining us. We're well aware that you have options, but we enjoy the fact that you've enjoyed our show tonight. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
We're out. Dre.
Take care.
Straight talk from our perspective. This is Man Cave Live with your host Lexington Steele and co-host Andre Lavelle and Johnny Depp on LA Talk Radio. Let's get it in.